Welcome to another episode of Follow the Brand TV. I am your host, Grant McGaugh, CEO of 5-Star BDM, a 5-star personal brand and business development company. I want to take you on a journey through another deep dive into the world of personal branding and business development using compelling personal stories, business conversations, and tips to improve your brand. By listening to the Follow the Brand TV series, you will differentiate yourself from the competition and build trust with prospective clients and employers. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Make it one that will set you apart, build confidence, and reflect who you are. Building your 5-star personal brand is a great way to improve your skills and knowledge. If you have any questions for me or any of my guests, please email me at grant.mcgaugh@5starbdm.com. Now, let's begin with our next episode on the Follow the Brand TV.
Five-Star BDM, Brand Development Masters, is a professional consulting and advisory group keenly focused on business development services for the small to mid-sized business and entrepreneurs. Although every business is unique, they often share business development challenges that can be addressed through smart branding. Services include process improvement and operations, digital strategy and transformation, business intelligence, digital marketing, and personal branding. Our business and personal branding company has helped a number of professionals and organizations to optimize and grow. This results in more business, more opportunities, better reach, positive outcomes. Visit www.5starbdm.com today to learn more.
When you first hear the words, "you have cancer," your world stops. You ask yourself, why me? Why now? The hospital room feels colder, the future suddenly uncertain. For Pete Delatorre, these words were more than a diagnosis. They were a wake-up call. In that moment, everything he thought he knew about his life and purpose was thrown into question. Pete Delatorre had built a remarkable career spanning 5 different industries: financial services, media, international business, and more. He was the picture of professional success, walking confidently through city skylines and boardrooms. Yet despite all his achievements, something was missing. At 14, Pete discovered a gift for speaking. But fear kept him silent, burying his potential for 40 years as time slipped by. Then came the diagnosis: aggressive prostate cancer. The news hit hard, forcing Pete to confront everything he had avoided. In that moment, the old Pete, the one who played it safe and waited for the right time, was gone. A new Pete was born, one who understood that life could change in an instant. The diagnosis was not just a crisis, but a catalyst for transformation and self-discovery. 4 years later, Pete was declared 100% cancer-free. He found himself asking the same questions. Why me? Why now? But this time the answer was clear. He realized he had been given a second chance, a renewed sense of purpose. Pete felt gratitude and determination, knowing he had more work to do. He was ready to embrace his calling and make every moment count. Pete wrote 3 simple words that would change his life forever. I have decided. Not eventually, not someday. Now. This commitment was more than a resolution. It was a declaration of intent. Pete understood that waiting for the perfect moment was just another form of fear. By deciding to act now, he reclaimed control over his life and destiny, turning intention into action. Today, Pete shares a powerful truth with leaders everywhere. You are 100% responsible for where you are. Not 99%, 100. He stands on stages, leads corporate trainings, and inspires business audiences with this message. Pete's journey has taught him that true leadership begins with accepting full responsibility for your choices, your growth, and your future. Pete challenges us all. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop saying, yes, but. Stop living in eventually. Your life is not a rental. You own it. Every tick of the clock, every page of the calendar is a chance to take action. Empowerment comes from breaking free of hesitation and stepping boldly into the present. The time to act is always now. From a 14-year-old's fear of public speaking to a lifetime of authentic leadership, Pete Delatorre's story is one of growth, courage, and transformation. He climbed from uncertainty to achievement, from hiding his voice to inspiring others. His journey reminds us that purpose is not found in waiting, but in choosing to live fully and lead with authenticity. Eventually is now. What if it does work? Pete's story is a wake-up call for all of us to stop waiting and start living. To hear the full conversation and dive deeper into Pete Delatorre's journey, listen to the Follow the Brand podcast at 5starbdm.com. Your moment is here. Decide, act, lead.
I want to welcome everybody to the Follow Brand Podcast. This is your host, Grant McGaw. I'm going to take it all the way down to South Florida to one of my favorite individuals who joined me, I think it was maybe even 3 years ago on this very show when I was first coming out with the Follow Brand TV series. He was one of my first guests that came on, Pete Delatorre. I'm telling you, if you don't know Pete Delatorre, he is historic, a legend in his own time, in his own genre. I'm telling you that he might not have been, people that know Pete, they know what I'm talking about. We want to have a conversation because the last time we spoke, you were coming out with your book, right? Mm-hmm. Ruthless, honestly. I mean, that was.
I got it right. I'm right behind me here.
There it is. People that are on audio don't see that, but the people on video, you know what we're referring to.
It's there.
And you're doing some newer things now. As a couple of years later, you've got a whole platform out there. Tell us more about yourself and what you're doing.
Well, again, a pleasure to be on your podcast again, my friend. Congratulations for the great work that you're doing. Congratulations on your book, First Light. I can't wait to read it. And I think we have some similarities there. And your topic and your focus. So congratulations, buddy. Well-deserved feat. I know it's not easy to write a book. I know what that's all about.
It isn't. It's a labor of love, but once you've got it finished, and actually you see it, when you actually see the publication in your hand, you're like, there's your baby. That's something that you made.
I know for me, it was like, did I write that? Did that come out of me? And I still say it when I look at it. So, your question is a great one. When we last spoke, it was 2.5 years ago. I had just come out with my book, Connect with Ruthless Honesty. That book was inspired by an encounter that I had with prostate cancer a little bit over 4 years ago. It was pretty aggressive, but thank God we caught it on time. And I had surgery, and as I am speaking to you today and the audience, I'm 100% cancer-free, thank God. So absolutely, and I don't take that for granted. Every day I get up, I say, thank you, God, for another day.
Yeah.
So what happened, it was against me, but then it turned out to be for me, the cancer ordeal. It woke me up. It gave me what I like to say is the wake-up call of wake-up calls. And when you first hear the news, it's why me? Why now? And then when you get through it, you ask that question again. Why me? Why now? How was I able to get through this when so many are not fortunate enough to get to the other side? So the message for me was that God had more plans for me. He had a different purpose for me, and I had to pay attention to what that was. So I began a process, which I like to call a lifelong transformation, because your transformation doesn't happen in one day. We are not one-hit wonders. We want longevity, and life is a marathon. So it began that process where I could now really be the person I was meant to be, and pursue the things that meant the most to me, that connected with me. I have done many things professionally through my years. I've been in 5 different industries. financial services, international business. I was in media, as you know, for a long time doing radio, and ran an economic development organization in South Florida. So I had a lot of experience there. One thing that was a common denominator through the years was the fact that I was teaching and I was speaking. And I have been blessed with the ability to be able to teach and help others learning something that is important to them and their growth, and also speaking. And it's funny because I discovered speaking skills when I was 14 years old. When I was asked to speak in front of a group of guys with, 30 guys in a room, we're all about 14 years old. And it was a speech class. I can't remember what it was, but I did a speech on sportsmanship. And I'll never forget because I copied the whole speech word by word from the World Book Encyclopedia. Remember those
Yeah, I remember
encyclopedias?
way back. Yeah.
So I took that and I did the speech, and the teacher looked at me and she goes, "That was phenomenal. I want you to do that speech at the end of year pep rally." Funny story. I freaked out. I go, I'm going to get in front of my friends here. They're going to mock me and that's that. And I told her that I lost the speech and I never did it. So it was one of those moments that I discovered that skill, but I was kind of embarrassed to share it. Fast forward, and everything I've done professionally, I have been speaking and I have been teaching. So as a result, I believe, of writing this book and what I learned from the whole experience is at this point in my life, I needed to pursue what I believe God has always intended me to do, which is to teach, which is to do corporate training, and to be a keynote speaker. So today, and I just went through this repurposing of my platform a couple months ago, testing a keynote that was well received by a small group of folks, and then accelerating, rebranding myself with a new website, with a new purpose. And so today, and moving forward for the rest of my life, because I really believe that I have arrived to what I was always meant to do, which is to be that speaker and to be that teacher or that trainer to help others grow and get to that next level.
This is so important, what you're talking about, especially when you go through pivots and transitions. And one of the things I talk about in branding, right, is that you've got to first take a good look at yourself and understand what were you doing 5 years ago, 10 years ago? What were the pivotal moments in your origin story that now define you even today? And what does that look like? And what you stated. Now you've built authority over 5 industries, over 36 years of leadership that you've already accomplished. And now you're putting this into your personal brand and how you evolve through these transitions and how you can give back to other individuals who may be now taking on lessons. They may now be leaders on their journey and what they're doing. And in your book, connect with ruthless honesty. And I remember this. You challenge people to show up with bold clarity. Bold clarity. My question for you is this: how do you see honesty as a cornerstone of building a trusted brand in today's marketplace?
Well, part of what I believe you've written in your book is the word authenticity.
Yeah.
And today, I think, and if you ask most people out there in any walk of life, what they're looking for in leaders or what they're looking for in life and who they want to be hanging out with, they want authenticity. They want what is real, okay? And they're tired. They're tired of the two-faced society that we're living in. They're tired of folks that are misleading, that are saying one thing and doing something else. Um, as a speaker, I have never been trained, for instance, to speak. It's come natural to me.
Yeah.
And I have seen and I've been part of different presentations and I've dabbled a little bit here and there, done a course here and read this book and seen a lot of videos to see styles and approaches by speakers and people in that field. And a lot of them are good, but I have seen that there are way too many folks that are mechanical and they're not speaking from the heart. So when I came out at this point in my life, I'm not a youngster anymore. And so I'm not someone who's that new rising star. I'm at wherever I am at right now. And I have a lot of gray hairs to
Don't we
prove to
both?
everybody that I have lived a life with a lot of ups and downs and a lot of things. And what I want to share with everyone is the real deal, the real story, my story. I don't claim to be an expert in different things. All I can do is share my story and share a real story.
Yeah.
And I believe that people are looking for authenticity. They're looking that, that this person is speaking from the heart, this person is speaking the truth. And they'll pick up on that and they'll connect with that.
True.
So I get that up there and talk and speak. I want to be myself. I don't want to be perfect when I speak. I don't want to get up there and have everything choreographed. There is a process we all follow.
Sure.
But in it, and this has always been my, especially now with this outlook, I don't want to speak to people. I want to speak with people.
I love that.
And when I train, when I speak, is that, I'm just like you, man. I'm a regular guy. I'm a regular person. I'm not this high level person. It's a multi-millionaire or billionaire, which everybody aspires to be. I want to talk to you on a one-to-one basis on the same level, just sharing my story and what I've learned through the years. And hopefully that'll make a difference in their lives.
100%. And I want the audience to really lean in what you just said. It's so important to understand that your story matters, that what you've been through will be of benefit to someone else, but it will only be a benefit to someone else if you share it. When I talk about personal branding, I remember one of the experts that I tuned into, and then he said this, and it was so important in how he said it. He said, you are an expert to the person that you were 5 years ago, even 10 years ago, in what you've already accomplished. There's somebody about to go up that mountain that you already went across. Say, if I had just now got diagnosed with prostate cancer, I'm going to go through a plethora of emotions and all kinds of different things. You've already went through that mountain. You've already been on the other side of that mountain. I would want to contact you and say, Pete, tell me what I'm about to go through. And you, because you've been through it, you say, Grant, it's going to be like this, and this. That's what's important. Your story matters. So many people in this world have great stories, but they never get told. To your point, what you were talking about as a young child, that you had an opportunity, your teacher was encouraging you, but you took a different route. But then it came back around, and then you said, you know what? I'm going to listen to this inner voice that's telling me I need to share. And you made a career out of that over time. I think that's about, for me, it's about resilience. And in your story, you've overcome adversity. You've resonated deeply with a lot of different audiences because of that authentic story that you have. I want you to also tell us, if you can, within your, if you were speaking to a team, training them, with technical, especially what you call, and I like how you frame this, emotional resilience techniques. How do you help leaders not only recover from challenges, but also grow stronger through them?
Well, I think it's very, very simple, is that you've got this whole idea of connect with ruthless honesty and to have, as the tagline says, the freedom to succeed in life and business.
Yeah.
All success in life starts by knowing yourself and being honest with yourself and not to be as yourself, okay? And understanding what is really important to you. What are those non-negotiable core values that are ingrained inside of you that for many, many years you ignored them. You just didn't pay attention to them. And then it comes to a point in your life that you're taking a hard look at everything and you're saying, you know, this is who I am. This is who I need to be consistently. I share this story when I open up my keynote and I ask a favor of the audience. I go, if any of you are a member of the Most People Club, I'm going to ask you to cancel that membership today.
Mhm.
And what I mean by that is, you know, we've heard the saying for many, many years, there are way too many chiefs and not enough Indians, right?
Yeah.
In today's world, it's actually flipped. Today, there are one too many Indians and not enough chiefs. We have a major void in real, authentic leadership, individuals that live and work and abide by their non-negotiable core values, and they lead themselves. So this is a long-winded answer, Grant, but it starts with you and knowing and being ruthlessly honest with yourself. That is the starting point to everything and anything in life. And in the sense of business, it's to be, once you're honest with yourself, then you start to transcend that honesty to the people that you work with, your colleagues, and then the marketplace, and then the clients. You know, in that process, who you're going to do business with and who you're not going to do business with.
Sure.
You know, because you want to have that environment where you're all basically on that same level. And forget about all these great strategies and skill sets. If you can come from that place moving forward, all of these other things will fall into place. But it
100%.
starts with you.
Non-negotiables. You've got to know what your non-negotiables are, or you follow any type of path. As you said, you've got to understand what path to go down and what path not to go down. Who is your client, who is not your client, and it's okay. And that starts 100%, what you said, of knowing yourself, and you've got to do honest self-assessment of who you are and what you're truly about. Now, I know in your world, you do a lot about claiming ownership and leading with accountability and purpose. I think that's so big because in this world, as we know this, everybody comes across friction. They have resistance. It's not a perfect path. You're going to have ups, you're going to have downs, but if you don't tell the whole story, you only tell, hey, this is how I achieved this, this, and this is all success when I did this. It's really, that's not a real story. There's going to be a lot of variance along the way. Any sporting event you go to, there's moments where you're losing, there's moments that you're winning, there's moments that you don't know if you're going to win, you don't know if you're going to lose. But then there's something that's so, you dig deep and you find that inner part of yourself that finds confidence and you just follow through. And I think a lot of that comes from fear of vulnerability. I want to know from you, how do you coach executives to balance that transparency with authority without losing their credibility?
Great question. You know that 5 years ago, we experienced the coronavirus, COVID-19. Remember that?
Yeah.
Well, out of that, there was a lot of mutations for the coronavirus. One of them was the political virus, the economic virus, but there's one that's still lingering today that I think is the worst of all of them. It's called the blaming virus, where we blame someone else for, you know, the lack of happiness or success we've had in our lives. And this is something I tell my audience, whether I'm speaking or I'm doing training, I always bring this to them, is wherever any of us is at in our lives right now, you, Grant, myself, the audience watching and listening here, wherever we're at in our lives, we are 100% responsible We are accountable at wherever we're at in our lives. Really good, mediocre, not so good, right? So we can't blame anyone else because we haven't hit the mark, that haven't hit the level. Okay. We need to, and I say to everybody, our lives are not a rental. We own them. God
Yeah,
gifted
right.
us this life. We got one shot at it,
Yeah.
right? So what do we do with it? We have to take care of it. We have to grab onto the owner who says, all right, I know my values. I'm going to live by them. I'm going to get on my train, not someone else's train.
Yeah.
And knowing that life is a marathon, life has many stops along the way. Well, if you're on your train and there's someone on board your train that's not connecting with you, they need to get off on the next stop.
Yeah.
To allow for others that will align with you to get on that train. And so I just, we need to be ruthlessly honest and say, we are accountable. We own our lives. And it's up to us whether we succeed or not. And there's something else that's real important. And you mentioned it there about failure and people or,
Sure.
the reason folks don't take the action, because at the end of the day, you're going to have all the greatest plans and goals and dreams and strategies in place. And it's like, okay, this feels really good right now. There's one little step left. It's called implement and execute.
Right.
And the reason a lot of people today, and I catch myself sometimes too, believe me, I'm not perfect here. The reason we don't do that because we are afraid that the outcome is not going to be what we desire it's going to be, right? Well, we need to understand that we don't control the outcomes, the results. The only thing we control are the steps that we take. If we don't take any steps, guess what the result's going to be? Zero.
Zero.
If we take those steps, we're setting ourselves for a higher probability of hitting some of the goals that we want in our lives. So we don't take that steps because we're afraid of what might happen, but more than anything else, what may not occur, what we may not attain.
100. And what you're saying there, like if you don't even start the journey, you've already got what you wanted, which is nothing. But once you start that journey, no matter what it is, as far as the outcome, it's going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be different, and it's going to be a journey, and it's going to be episodic, right? The drama begins, the drum roll. No one really knows the exact outcome, but if you don't even take the journey itself, you don't crack open the book, you don't go through the process, you gain nothing. And what you said earlier about who needs to be on your train and then off the train, as you are progressing, and I've noticed this, as you grow, when you're growing into your true self, you're becoming your true potential of who you are, you're going to have a new network of people around you. There's nothing wrong with the old people. It's just you associated with them at a certain level. You're no longer at that level. You're no longer, let's say if you're in grade school, you're not in 5th grade anymore. You're in 10th grade, or you're not in 10th grade anymore. You're in advanced learning in college and in physics. You've moved on. Those other people, they're doing their thing and what they're learning, but you have moved on. You've got other people now in your circle that you're interacting with because you're growing and you're moving in a way that's different. Now, one of your 5 core, I call leadership principles, is the create your vision, which I love that, how you said it. Create your vision about thinking bigger and thinking about your sacred rules. And then for those, and I want you to answer this, for those leaders that are stuck in limiting mindsets, like you can limit yourself, kind of we talked about earlier, limiting yourself. What is your go-to strategy to expand their sense of possibility?
Well, my friend, it's a good question, and I got to answer it in a very simple way, man. It all starts with belief.
Mm-hmm.
It starts in believing in yourself, knowing who you are, knowing who you're not. And when I talk about vision and thinking bigger, um, I by the way, let me start by saying that we're all visionaries.
Mm-hmm.
You hear talk about, Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, whatever the case. Those are great visionaries. We're all we're all visionaries. We're always thinking about the future. Now, what we're thinking about could be different. We can think about, bad things happening or good things happening or whatever, but we limit ourselves. The reason I say think bigger, if you look, you come down to Miami, you go down Brickell Avenue in downtown Miami, and you see the skyscrapers going up and the buildings going up. Someone had to think about that at some point.
Right.
They had a vision and they made it happen. Why? Because they believed it. We as human beings put limitations on ourselves for whatever it is, childhood, whatever. Then I call that fake news. That's fake news. Don't get suckered into that. That's not true. If the next person can think big and do big, why can't you? I like for someone to answer, to prove me wrong and say, we can only think on a limited basis. And give me a good explanation of what that means and why. And why do you say that? Okay? So it's again, it's not magic. It's just getting to the point and saying, well, wait a second. You know, I've got very strong things about myself here that I can bring and add to the table to help others. But again, you got to take responsibility. Once you claim ownership, then that confidence grows from there. And as leaders today, it's not about shouting out the next orders or you trying to hold someone else accountable. It's you telling the other person it's up to them. They got to take ownership. They are accountable. You got to tell them as a leader, I don't hold that power. I don't have that power to hold you accountable. If you believe I do, then we got a problem.
That is so true. You got to take responsibility, accountability. Our conversations around that. We've been talking about that. You've been talking about that. I think this is why you've rebranded yourself in this area, because you push leaders, make a decision, take action. You stress creating that no excuses culture, right? You've got to take that first step. You've got to hardwire in that you can make it happen. Yes, you acquire the resources around you, the assets that you need, because you can't all do it by yourself to get to that next level. But you've got to have that dream. You've got to have that understanding. I want to know from you. You had a dream. You kind of alluded to it, but what made you right now said, I'm rebranding, I'm getting out in front, I'm getting on this stage? Is it because of what you're saying? Is like, I think the world needs my voice. What were you thinking?
I believe that after this encounter with cancer, I always kind of knew it was there, but I didn't have that push, that oomph that I needed. This did it to me and for me. And I remember late last year, and I talk about this is a third of the 5 key elements is make decisions. Not just any decisions, intentional decisions. Late last year, I sat down and I looked into my 2025. What do I want to do? And I said, I want to do this and I like to do this. And I came up with 14, 15, 16 different things here. And I caught myself repeating a pattern of having all these, not even goals, these were wishes. And I would tell myself, then I look at it, go, okay, this one's good, but eventually I'll get to that, and eventually I'll get to this one. It just hit me. Eventually is now. So if now is what's important, what are the 3 to 4 most important things that I believe I want to do and need to do in 2025? So what I did was I just said, I have decided to do this. I have decided. So I made a commitment to myself and I wrote it up. I have decided to, right? And that's been my mantra this year. And and I look back at the last 10 months, 10 months? Yeah, 10 months, 9 months. And I said, look at what I've accomplished this year because I was bold in that commitment to myself. So it is up to all of us and any of us is to make decisions, but with intention that they mean something, or else if they don't, it'll just we'll come in again. Eventually I'll get there. Eventually is now for me.
That's so important. important to understand. And I've seen people do this. I've done it. My father was big on this. He would have these great ideas, you know. But then when it came to what you said earlier, implementation, the execution, making it come into visibility. He was more of a visionary guy, but he wasn't a operational guy. How you operationalize the vision that you have so that you can live in the reality that you are giving life to. And it's full circle because you can get distracted. There's so many distractions in life that you have the full intention. Everybody knows the beginning of the year, everybody has their New Year's resolution, right? And then by most likely either February 1st, if you're lucky, that's out of the window and you're on to something else because life is always going to be pushing you one way or another because we're just in this collective that we have. And there's distractions that are always going to come your way. When you can say, this is my priority, this is my commitment, you can then, I use a football analogy, just kind of forearm those things out of the way. Like that is not aligned with my priority. That is not a part of my commitment. I am not going to spend energy and cycles on those things. I'm going to spend energies and cycles on these things. But it comes with a decision and a commitment, what you just said. Sometimes you've got to put down that phone. Sometimes you've got to turn off that television. Sometimes you can no, I'm not going to go out and do this or that because I'm focused on this. And if it's not aligned with that, I had to do that myself. I moved from Miami, Florida, South Florida to the Midwest. I now dwell in Omaha, Nebraska.
Look at that, my friend.
I just did that about 6 months ago. My parents are
Wow.
getting older. I had to start looking at my own situation in life. What was the best track going forward for me? And it meant I needed to, and this is where I grew up. I grew up in Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay.
People did not know that. Haven't lived here in 35 years. And for me, it's like a whole new experience because when you haven't been somewhere in a very long time, I've been back, but not lived there. It's different. It feels like I'm living in the past, the present, and the future all at the same time. And yet I still have my relationships in South Florida, also St. Croix Virgin Islands that are growing, and it's allowed me to become the full person that I could do. To your point, I had to listen to that voice of what is the right path for me right now.
You went full circle.
Exactly.
As you were talking, there's a couple of different things that people say without even noticing they're saying it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like poison to them and their psyche and their advancement of moving forward. For instance, when they're presented with an opportunity, they'll look at it, go, "It sounds interesting, but what if it doesn't work?
Yeah.
What if it doesn't work?" I'll flip that and I'll say, "What if it does?
Yeah.
What if it does work?" Because we have a tendency to go at, I don't believe. So, and there's another phrase, which is 2 words to it. That's a killer.
Yeah.
When opportunities come up as well, is that we say, sounds good, but, yes, but.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like it depends on someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And we do these and say these things, and we don't know the danger that we're doing to ourselves. So we have to, words also very, very important there. So
100%. And understanding in our world, you like typically when you wake up in the morning, sometimes, and as you go through life, you're already in what I call your resting state is usually a negative state, meaning you're already thinking about the status quo of what you normally do, your habits and whatnot. You're thinking about certain biases that you have. You have certain status quo that's out there, and then your critical mindset. The critical mindset is a major thing that rests right in front of you, right when you wake up in the morning. It takes energy. It takes intentionality, as you said, positivity to then get above that frame of mind. I say some people, they do prayer in the morning. Some people do contemplation in the morning. They do meditation because you've got to be intentional about starting that engine in a positive mind frame. Because if you don't, and you stay almost unconscious as you awaken, you're going to stay in that negative frame, and it's just there. But until you get intentional about, all right, I need to look at and be, and I know I do it every morning. It's like, all right, what positive event happened yesterday? What positive event happened 2 days ago? And focus on those things. Because if I start carrying yesterday's news into my mindset, and all the, like you said, all the self-limiting beliefs, like, oh my God, I gotta get, because you get up kind of tired most of the time. I don't wake up and boom, I'm ready to go. But I
Right.
have to rev up to that point. But we got to rev up. I've done this, rev up my mental state, my emotional states, to get back into my frame of mind, and then remembering my North Star and the purpose that I'm setting out for this day to accomplish, that I'm aligned with that purpose. So as the distractions come, and they always will come, things happen, but then you can get back in line, get back on course to do what you need to. I think you've gotten back on course, and you're talking about me coming full circle. That story you told in the very beginning about, going to the encyclopedia and doing this great speech, and then you had an opportunity, and you look at you now. You've come completely full circle, and you know how to
I've gotten a little
share
bit older
the
since then.
story. What's that?
I've gotten a little bit older since then.
Yeah, just a little bit, but you bring all of that to the table. I know if let's say I was starting out in radio, I want to listen to you. What is that like? You're starting out in economic development. What, Pete, tell me about your experiences, because you've lived those lived experiences. A lot of the fundamentals and principles are still the same. There's a lot of change, and you probably heard this in life. Nothing new under the sun. It may
Yep.
be new to you, but it's not new to someone else. You just have to find that out. And to your point, like, you don't want, you say, hey, what if I do this and it doesn't work out? Well, for somebody, it did work out. But are you putting yourself in their mindset? Are you finding out maybe possibly from them or someone else who actually had that success and learning from them, so that you won't make the mistake? So when it does come up, you just stop. You don't have the resilience. No, you're not ready yet. You can't withstand the headwinds that are going to come toward you. So you got to find those things that can push you forward. I look how I see you pushing forward even today. You didn't stop, your self-pity, like, yeah, I had cancer, it stopped me. I'm done. I'm checking out right now. You are punching in your clock every day, and you've been punching in for a long time, and you're bringing forth. And you reached out to me and said, Grant, I want to be on your show again. Let's do it. I got some things I'm doing new. I've got a new website. I've rebranded. I'm a keynote speaker. I'm like, I'm very impressed with you, Pete.
Thank you,
I
man.
wanted to, again,
Appreciate that.
tell our audience, number one, they got to know, where are you speaking next? How can we book you? How do we get in the Pete Delatorre world?
Well, it's an open book, open door anytime. Reach out to me. I think one of the best ways to do it, more efficient ways, to go to my website, which is Peter Delatorre. I added the R as a little bit of a rebranding thing twist that I did there. I've been known as Pete, and I added the R so I can tell everybody, you see, I've rebranded. I've added, a lot of people call me Peter as well. So it's peterdelatorre.com. And the website was developed with a lot of years of hits and misses, things that I've learned, but also putting in there what I believe, uh, the information I believe people need to have in order to at least get a taste of what I do and who I am. Um, there's a homepage, obviously, but there's also a page for my speaking. There's some videos that I put there. There's different keynotes that I do. There's some testimonials that I've been blessed with. On my training page, the same thing. Um, and if you are interested in talking with me on either from a speaking perspective or training, there's a contact sheet. You can put your information on there and reach out to me, and I will get back to you. We can talk it through.
I love it. Now I got one more question. I got to ask you this, Pete. Now like I said, you've been in radio a long time. You've been interviewed a lot, especially when your book came out. You talked to a lot of people. This is the second time you've interviewed with me on the Follow Brand Show. How do you feel about this experience?
It's been fantastic because, my friend, you are enthusiastic in terms of engaging with your guest. You come from a really good place, an authentic place. You've made me, feel at ease, comfortable at home in our talk. You're just engaging. We're just having a conversation here. You're not trying to drill me or put me on the spot or have any got you questions or anything like that. And it's important, and it's important to your mission in terms of engaging and talking to the folks that you believe bring value to your platform. And hopefully I haven't disappointed.
Oh, without question, you have not. I would not have had you back on if I felt any kind of disappointment or he's going to embarrass myself in my show and what I do. There's no way, because Pete Delatorre, I'm telling you, I encourage the audience to really do their due diligence and their research. Man, you've done a lot for this community. You've helped a lot of small business people to grow their business. There's probably a lot of people like, wow, I know because I got this information from Pete, I was able to do X. And then maybe they never told you. We should get some testimonies and some emails out there. Make sure our audience and our community wraps their arms around you and what you have done for us, and that you poured into us and we want to pour back into you. I want to thank you again for being on the show. I want to encourage your audience as well as mine to make sure that you're going to 5-Star BDM. That's B for brand, D for development, information.com. There's over 250 people that have poured out what they feel is important to them and why they do it in different categories that really will resonate with you to get you to that next level. So I want to thank you, my friend, again for being on the show.
Thank you, my brother. Really appreciate it. A lot of fun. Let's do it again.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Man, who's your favorite podcaster? Man, Grant, man. I love Grant's podcast. Well, who's Grant? I'm going to send you the link. I love Grant.
I love the interview. I've done a lot of these, and this is a great one. It's always great to talk to people who know what they're doing, and it's clear you're a great host, and you've done this many times before.
I feel great that we're having this conversation here. Met a new person in business who I previously didn't know.
It was an amazing podcast. Grant is an amazing interviewer. I learned a lot.
Really enjoyed this. Great questions, great talk track. Super appreciate you having me on. It's been a very fun episode to talk about a lot of things that I don't always get to dive into. So this has been a fantastic conversation.
I wouldn't be where I am here today, of course, not on this stage. However, not in my current business projection and my current business model without working with you.
The difference between influence and legacy, it's the platform that carries your voice. You're not visible because you lack talent. You're visible because your brand doesn't speak. I've built 5-Star BDM to change that. Most leaders have the expertise, but not the presence, the vision, but not the vehicle. Across 3 cities, one brand is helping leaders rise above the noise. Here in the heart of Omaha, strategy isn't left to chance. It's engineered with precision. In Omaha, we engineered your executive brand, AI-powered, data-driven, precise. TISA went from a local nonprofit to a national speaker in 90 days. We don't guess your brand strategy, we build it. On the shores of St. Croix, your brand takes on depth and meaning, shaped through curated retreats and legacy experiences. In St. Croix, strategy becomes soul. Our retreats don't just refine your message, they rediscover your mission. One founder rewrote his entire company story here. Funding followed 30 days later. This is where leaders remember who they were meant to be. In vibrant Miami, momentum meets amplification, transforming your voice into a movement. In Miami, your brand becomes a movement. Business development accelerators. Audience building. Joey came with an old website and an outdated company name, but she left with 5,000 followers and a waiting list. This is where you scale with soul. 3 cities, 1 mission. Your legacy ignited. It started with a thread. Let's pull it together. Stop blending and start leading. 5-Star BDM, where legacy is engineered, embodied, and ignited. Visit 5starbdm.com and book your brand audit today.
In today's fast-paced financial landscape, access to capital is the key to success. At the heart of this revolution is Case Capital Markets, powered by SETI Case. Here, innovation and investment converge, creating a dynamic environment where businesses can thrive and reach new heights. Introducing Grant McGaw, the senior advisor at Case Capital Markets. Grant is a visionary leader, dedicated to connecting businesses with institutional capital and strategic funding. His expertise opens doors to game-changing investment opportunities, making him an invaluable partner for companies looking to scale and succeed in the competitive world of finance. With an impressive 25 years in technology, 9 years in healthcare, and 6 years in investment banking, Grant McGaw has a proven track record. He has successfully closed over $500 million in high-value transactions, seamlessly bridging technology, healthcare, and infrastructure with innovative financial solutions. His experience is a testament to his ability to drive success. Case Capital Markets offers businesses direct access to over 32,000 venture capital firms, private equity funds, family offices, and institutional investors. This network empowers mid-market companies with under $100 million in revenue to scale beyond their limits, unlocking unprecedented growth potential. Debt, equity, growth capital, public offerings. These are the building blocks of the future of capital access. Whether you're scaling a business, seeking investment, or exploring market expansion, Grant McGaw is your trusted partner. Together, you can unlock capital and create long-term financial success. The future belongs to those who take action. Are you ready to elevate your business? What if leadership wasn't about titles, but trials? What if your breakthrough lay beyond fear? In First Light, the brave path to authentic leadership, embark on a journey of courage, truth, and purpose. Face the wolf. Hear first thunder. Wield the sword and shield. This is more than a book. It's a calling. Are you ready for First Light? Are you searching for a website that truly reflects your mission and vision? The 5-star BDM website services portfolio, led by Grant McGaw, transforms ideas into impactful digital platforms for personal brands, nonprofits, and small businesses. Each project in our portfolio tells a unique story. From JADICC, an infection control expert organization with professional polish, to Ekaba World Community, a dynamic hub for events and memberships, and Pink Lotus Project, empowering women with donation and program features. Every site is crafted using our Brave branding framework and mobile-first development. Our portfolio is more than a gallery. It highlights project context, purpose, and measurable outcomes. We demonstrate brand consistency, strategic user experience, and deliver results that build trust and drive engagement. A world-class portfolio proves capability, sets you apart from competitors, and positions you as an authority. It is your most trusted sales tool and reputation asset. Ready for a website that leads with purpose? Book a discovery consultation or request a brand audit today.
The 5-star BDM LinkedIn social selling course can help you stand out and attract the right connections and opportunities. We will help you professionally create your profile, provide personalized recommendations for improvement, and help you create and share engaging content to help you showcase your skills and expertise. Our 5-step course makes connecting with industry experts, finding job opportunities, and building meaningful relationships easy. Social selling can be an effective way for you to generate leads and close deals, but it does have its challenges. Our course will help you solve the problems associated with digital networking. If you need help personalizing your outreach and messaging, which can lead to low response rates and a lack of engagement. If you need help targeting the right prospects, this course is for you. With so much noise on social media, it can be challenging to cut through the clutter and get your message in front of the right people. Our course will personalize your messaging using our targeting tools and research. You can identify and reach the right prospects. We will also show how to deliver high quality, valuable content that attracts and engages prospects and clients. The 5-star BDM LinkedIn social selling course will address these challenges by implementing best practices. As a result, you can improve your social selling efforts and generate better results. Are you looking to improve your LinkedIn profile and reach a wider audience? Social selling is an effective way for you to generate leads and close deals, but it does have its challenges. Some common problems we saw with social selling include lack of visibility. If your profile is not optimized or you're not actively participating in groups or sharing content, it can be difficult to get noticed on LinkedIn. Number 2, lack of personalization. Some businesses struggle with personalizing their outreach and messaging, which can lead to low response rates and a lack of engagement. Also, difficulty targeting the right prospects. It can be difficult to identify and target the right prospects on social media, especially if you don't have access to robust targeting tools. And number 4, outdated content. If your LinkedIn profile or content is not up to date, it can give the impression that you're not actively engaged on the platform or that your skills and experience are not current. And lastly, poor quality content and not leveraging video and picture to convey ideas. To solve these problems, the 5-star BDM LinkedIn Optimization Social Selling Video course will help you focus on personalizing your outreach and messaging to better connect with prospects. In module number 1, the foundation, we will help you create high quality, valuable profile that will attract and engage. In module 2, the story, optimizing your LinkedIn profile to make sure it is complete, accurate, and visually appealing. In module number 3, the experience, using your targeting tools and research to identify and reach out to the right prospects. In module number 4, engagement, establishing a consistent follow-up process to nurture leads and build relationships over time. And lastly, in number 5, execution. Understand the metrics to help you measure your brand effectiveness. By addressing these challenges and implementing best practices, you will improve your social selling with the 5-star BDM LinkedIn Optimization Social Selling course. Listen to what others have said about 5-star BDM.
Grant, I'll tell you why I'm here, right? I'm here because I love your brand. When we started chatting on LinkedIn, we connected. I checked you out and I go, man, this guy knows what he's talking about.
You were definitely instrumental in helping to shape that knowledge of who I am. Because at first I thought, well, I am an actress. I am a writer. I am a producer. I am a speaker. And so I said, well, I must be a creative communicator. I know that there is a narrative thread here, but you nailed it when you said you are a storyteller. So you brought it all together in this cohesive title.
Sign up today to improve your social selling opportunities.
Hey everyone, it's Grant McGaw, CEO of 5-Star BDM and host of the award-winning Follow the Brand podcast and TV series, where I help you to build a 5-star brand that people will follow. My genius is personal brand development through intelligent communication and helping you achieve your business and career goals. I am a requested speaker on digital technology and brand development issues. I want to work with you to increase the value of your current opportunities while attracting new ones. Every one of you is unique, and we all share challenges that can be addressed through smart branding. As a superconnector, I work with you as an executive coach to guide you along the complicated business and career development road, providing the enhancement tools and information you need to succeed. Together, I will help you succeed in today's challenging business climate. I will evaluate and measure your progress. Best of all, I am right alongside you every step of the way. Build the brand called you. Genius is coming.
Tune in for our next show or click on our website at www.5starbdm/followthebrandtv. Thank you.